It's Trinity time again. We're getting you ready to meditate with us on Wednesday nights. So on Tuesday we put out this video, hopefully giving you a feeling of what the energy we're meditating on is really like in your body, a physical experience of it. To do that, I usually give you a martial arts based demonstration, a little exercise you can do to hopefully get that feeling in your body. Tonight's a little different because we're talking about delight, and delight is, frankly, a complicated energy. Delight is basically the creation of new energetic pathways in your energy field. You know, if you learn a new language or take up the violin or something, they say that you create new neural pathways in your brain. Well, it's very much like that, except it's your whole energy field. It can be new ways of emotional expression, it can be new physical habits, it can be new neural pathways in your brain. It can be any of those, but delight is based upon you expanding a little bit, stepping out of what is normal and comfortable and getting into a novel experience. Delight always has that sense of novelty to it. The problem with this is that it goes away really quickly. Most people do not experience a bunch of delight in their life because we seek the normal and the comfortable. We'll go to the gym and we'll do a workout and we'll pick up that bicep curl weight and we'll just do this. And it may be wonderful for empowering strength or health or wherever you go to the gym, but your energy field already knows about this. Your brain has worked out how to do it, your body has a habit for it, your emotions know how they're supposed to feel about it, and so no delight happens. Delight is when we bring an unfamiliar energy to a familiar expression, or a familiar energy to an unfamiliar expression. That is what triggers delight, and as you might expect, it goes away really quickly when the unfamiliar becomes familiar. So you have to keep changing up your delight. I get a lot of delight from simple little things, but I have to change them constantly. For several months, I got delight from walking down my stairs backwards because it made my brain and my emotions and my physical body go, wait, I mean, I know what we're doing, but this feels different. And when I'd get to the bottom, I'd have this little smile of, whew, did it. Walk down the stairs backwards. You get a little boost of delight anytime you bring the familiar to the unfamiliar, or vice versa, because it creates new energetic pathways in your energy field. So it can be simple things like, there's a little golf game that I play on my phone sometimes, and every once in a while I'll do it with my left hand. I know the game, I know what's happening, but I'll do it in a slightly unfamiliar way, and regardless of whether I get a good score or not, I have a little bit of delight over it. Now, as you can see, the problem with this familiar, unfamiliar thing is that it's really easy to get out of your comfort zone and start being uncomfortable, afraid, angry, whatever. That kills all the delight. So there's a narrow window. Novel, but not too uncomfortable. You gotta kind of thread that needle, and once you thread the needle, you gotta be willing to change it, because in a week or so, it's not gonna work anymore. Because of this, I have a formula that I've developed. Delight comes from an activity that is high intensity, but low risk. High intensity, low risk. And by intensity, I mean you put yourself in a situation where your brain and your emotions and your body are all going, whoa, whoa, what's it? And they have to, readjust. And it's intense, but not scary. There's no actual risk involved. So you can get delight from doing something simple like reading your journal out loud to your partner. Well, it's a little uncomfortable, but they're not going to judge you too harshly, and maybe they may even get some insight into what's going on with you, and it takes you out of your comfort zone, but it's low risk. But after you do that about 3 or 4 times, you're pretty comfortable with it, and there goes the delight. Now, delight can come back. This is why kids are such a huge source of delight, is because you look at them and you're constantly reminded that they're the same lovable little people, but they're different. Every time you turn around, they're different, they're different, they're different, they're different. And you can get that burst over and over again. I remember when you were just this high, and now you're this high, and there's a little delight that comes because you know how to relate to this person, but not quite exactly in this situation. So new energetic pathways are being formed, new ways of feeling, new ways of thinking, new ways of doing are coming to you because of this slight adjustment that you have to make. And you can do it over and over and over again. You can do this with items too. You can have a favorite book or movie, and you can watch it over and over again, and it's delightful, and then a little less delightful, and then a little less delightful. And by about the 5th time, it's not delightful. But then you forget about it, and 20 years later, you come back to it, and oh my God, it's delightful again. Why? Because it's a slightly unfamiliar situation now. You kind of know how to relate to it, but not exactly. You're bringing a new energy to a familiar situation or a familiar energy to an unfamiliar situation. Either way, a little bit of delight happens. So any exercise that I give you is going to be kind of temporary. But I've found in my martial arts practice that there's a few techniques, little martial arts things that I've learned how to do that even after years of doing them, I still kind of go, oh, well, that was cool. And I get a little delight because they're just hard enough that you never quite master them, but not so hard that you go, to hell with this, and forget about it. So I'm going to give you one of those that's kind of easy. We'll call it entry-level delight. And then I'm going to give you one that's a little harder that has lasted me many years. It's a little harder to master, and you may have to look at this video over and over again, but hopefully it will last you a little longer in your quest for delight. So I'm going to get my training partner out here, and I'm also going to get this prop because everything's better with props. This is a foam stick. So once again, low risk. This is what you want. Any activity that you want to get some delight from, it's going to have to challenge you to be slightly different. You're going to have to put your brain and your emotions and your body in a situation where they go, wait, I don't know what to do. But it's also got to be low enough risk that you don't feel totally embarrassed, totally afraid, totally confused. Those kill the delight. So, simple overhead club attack. This foam stick would represent a baseball bat or something like that. And I'm going to come in over the top. And Bob, of course, wants to put his hands up. Natural thing. Your body kind of knows what to do. Your brain kind of knows what to do. So it's not terribly scary, but also you're kind of like, whoa, I could get hit. There's a little bit of friction there, and that's what makes it high intensity, low risk. So I'm going to ask Bob to do the same thing. He comes over the top, and I'm going to put my hands up like this. Just make an X. We call this an X block. And the secret is you put your right wrist against your forehead, and then the left wrist comes up and magnets onto it. So, boom, like that. So it comes over the top. I'm going to step in because I don't want this to hit me here. And if this were a sword or something, I don't want to catch it like that. That would be bad. So I want to step in enough that I can get under the wrist. So 2 techniques that we're going to do. Number 1, I'm just going to grab. And as this comes, instead of stopping it, as it comes down, I'm going to bring it in like that. Let's do it from the other side so people can see it a little better. So it comes in, I grab, and bam! I just send it into Bob's leg. This is my entry-level delight because it's kind of fun. Comes over the top, you grab it and you go wham! And you feel this delight that he was trying to smack me and I smacked him. It's a wonderful turnaround. Once again, just grab and continue the circle. Simple, simple, simple. It's great for about 3 or 4 times. So once again, our advanced level delight technique, and this one lasts me a little longer because it's a little harder to remember, is he throws that block, and I want him to have a extended arm like this. Extended arm. Comes over the top, I'm going to X block, and I'm going to roll, just like that. And what it looks like in reality is you do this, and then you do this. So here to here, and it's got a little of that roll to it. X block to arm bar. This one's so tricky that it takes a while to learn, but it lasts longer. I can do this after years and years of doing it, and I still go, oh, that's kind of cool. And I get a little smile, a little delight comes to me. So our two techniques again, more difficult version, bam. Simple version, grab and redirect. Try those two just as motions. Just this in the air, you don't need a partner. And this in the air, you don't need a partner. These two things, the circle and the roll, should bring you some delight. If you think this stuff's cool, stay tuned for more Trinity.